So I'm Sander Hoogendoorn. I'm Business Development Manager of Trisigma. Trisigma is a test lab based in the Netherlands. In Geldermalsen, we also have an office in Spain, near Barcelona, in Rubí. And today I'm going to talk about a few lessons that can be learned from years of compliance testing in the Netherlands. It's not going to be very tough content. It's not going to be sexy either. We've heard the word a few times before, sexy. Because to make compliance sexy, I don't think it's possible. But it's necessary. You have to do it in the best and nicest way possible. And there's lessons learned. I mean, there's just a few things that we constantly fall into, or questions are being asked constantly about how this should be treated. These are just very simple cases, so it's not going to be very boring stuff, I can promise you. We'll probably keep it short. This was the last breakout session, so the idea is that we can go back to the plenary session after this. I think at 4:45 there will be the CEO panel, so that could be interesting to join. That will be the final session of the day. There will be the closing remarks, and then we can take the boat and go to Holland Casino. So one of the things we've run into before we got to version 2.1 of the KSA assessment scheme was version 2.0. That was actually important because the update from the KSA assessment scheme 1.4 to 2.0 was rather big. It was a new model. And we've had many questions and many doubts of suppliers in the market, operators in the market, saying if I've tested my games against 1.4, we've now got 2.0, what do I need to do? Well, not issue, but the situation with version 2.0 was that it basically impacted all elements of the gaming system. So it impacted games, the platform, the random number generator, the control database, CNP. And whenever you are going live with a new operator or with a new game, you could be an operator, you go live with a new game, you could have a whole library of sets of games tested against 1.4, that's not a problem, but you're introducing new games, then that game needed to be tested against 2.0. And if I have a game that's tested against 2.0, and my RNG was tested against version 1.4, I would still have to update my RNG report to 2.0. That created a lot of, but why is this necessary? Is this logical? Well, those were the guidelines of the KSA. And I know I'm talking about the past, but I think it's relevant to include this because this similar situation can and will occur in the future. We now have 2.1, which is slightly different. I will go into that in the next slide. But it's just good to know that the interpretation of the regulator here is you need to be compliant with the current assessment scheme. Your entire system needs to be compliant with the current assessment scheme. So whenever you're implementing new elements, everything that's involved there needs to be tested against the current scheme. So if I have a game that's was tested against 2.0, that game report will be referencing an RNG report. That could not be a 1.4 RNG report. It had to be a 2.0 report. And then if I am a supplier on the Dutch market, I have all my games tested against 1.4. They are operating happily with one of my customers, an operator. I want to sell my games to a new operator, then suddenly all these games had to be tested against 2.0. That was one of the other moments where our customers would ask us, but why is that? Well, that's because when you go live, you're going to present your documentation to the KSA. It has to be against the current assessment scheme. Well, similar but different is the situation with the current version of the KSA assessment scheme, which is 2.1. The update from 2.0 to 2.1 is less impactful than it was from 1.4 to 2.0. The most important changes have to do, well, it's basically a very technical requirement on currency display. It's not that the currency suddenly has changed in the Netherlands, but they've now made it very explicit that you have to display it in euros, and it was not there before. And then there's all kinds of regulations related to canvassing, advertising, and addiction prevention. And these changes impact the platform in the games. They do not impact the random number generator or the CNB. So there's no need to do any updates for the RNG or the CDB, but if you're going to implement new games or you're going to go live with an operator with your games, these games have to be tested against 2.1. And the same situation applies to the platform. So it's similar to the updates from 1.4 to 2.0, but it's just that the scope is less, so the impact is less there. And then, in case somebody wants to ask the question, when there comes a version 2.2 or 3.0, what will be the situation? Well, then I guess we need the crystal ball again. All we know as a test lab is that there will likely be a new version of a KSA assessment scheme in the future. It will clearly follow the regulation, and we will have to make an assessment again. What elements does it impact? Yeah, Joris.
Yeah, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2.1 had the changes that came into force with the new regulation on playing limits, but only the existing regulation that got amended in 2.1, but the new provisions from the regulation, they never made it into the assessment scheme.
Yeah, that's what they...
Have you any idea why is it? Or are we still waiting on a new version that actually has the new provisions in an assessment scheme?
Well, I think there will be a new version, but we're not sure either.
No.
But,
okay.
But there will definitely be a new version, but we just don't know when. It will follow the regulation. Yeah. And it's likely what you say, if these changes that did not make it into the assessment scheme, that they will make it into the assessment scheme in the future. But again, as your job, this is difficult to interpret. It also depends on politics. We'll have to see what happens now with the new coalition that needs to be formed. But for now, we will be working with 2.1. Yeah. Another issue we've seen quite a lot, this is especially relevant when working with foreign suppliers from the Dutch market. Obviously, your games need to be in Dutch, it needs to be correct Dutch, perfect Dutch. We've seen use of, I've put it euphemistically, unnatural Dutch language. I've seen, I think Stefan can confirm, we've seen strange things in the games. And also excessive use of English. That is a difficult topic because, as you know, Dutch culture, or for the people that are Dutch here, Dutch culture uses a lot of English. Gaming uses a lot of English. I mean, is jackpot an English word or is it a Dutch word? So you can have your debates about it. But the excessive use of English and slang in the games is not going to be good enough. So it's very important that when you test the games, that you involve Dutch speakers. So that's what we do as Trisigma. We're a Dutch lab, so we really have Dutch people from our Dutch office checking this, because it's difficult to do this automated. In other jurisdictions, we sometimes ask for a certification of the translations, and if these are languages that we do not speak ourselves, so we need to have to certify that these translations have to be done officially. Because we also see more and more that automation is being used for translations, AI, robots. Well, I think we all have experience with ChatGPT or Gemini, and we know it's very interesting tools, but they are definitely not perfect. And the same goes for translations of games. So it's very important that we still have native speakers checking that. Because you can run into issues if you do not do this properly, the games will not be compliant, players can complain about it, and so that's why it's a recurring topic. One other thing we've had many questions about this I think is of my slides the most complicated one, probably. For your change management plan, when do you need a reassessment? This is important for operators, but the suppliers in the market also get involved because they would like to follow the scheme as well. So they basically facilitate the process for their B2B customer, the operator, the B2C. So when I make changes to my system, when do I need to go to a test lab to do a reassessment, and when not? So there's basically two different distinctions. The first one is whether the changes are in the non-critical parts or in the critical parts. Or when is a part critical or when is a part non-critical. That's something that should be clearly outlined in the risk analysis you have made yourself in your CMP. And then once it's clear whether the changes are in the non-critical or in the critical parts, there's a distinction between urgent and non-urgent changes. Urgent being, I have to fix it because otherwise the integrity and the stability, performance of the game is directly impacted of the platform. So then I can test it myself as an operator with my supplier, deploy it directly, but I still have to get the report of a test lab, but I have 180 days to do so. If the changes are non-urgent, so these are bugs, bug fixes and cosmetic changes, etc., I do need a report of a lab before I do the deployment of these changes. The distinction between urgent and non-urgent for the parts in the critical parts, it's basically the same as for the non-critical parts, but with the difference that if I do urgent changes in critical parts, I have only 30 days to get a test report from an accredited test lab instead of the 180 days. And this, we've seen that many players on the business level in the market have doubts about this, so I thought it would be good to clarify this. Just some other things that are, I think, good to mention where we can add value in all of this. When you run into issues and you want to introduce, implement new games, changes, platforms in the Netherlands, I think it's good to know that Trisigma, as being one of the smaller test labs, we are part of GLA, my GLA colleagues here as well, but Trisigma is an independent test lab. We work on our own branding with our own teams. We are smaller, and the value we can do ad hoc assessments. So when you are in urgent need because you have a change that needs to be implemented quickly, or you have this urgent change in your critical part, you need your report, we can do this quickly. We have a quick turnaround time there. Another thing I think is good to mention is that we talk a lot about iGaming. We've touched a bit upon land-based today, but I think everybody's talking about iGaming all the time. In the Netherlands, I must say that Trisigma does a lot of testing for iGaming, but these are absolutely our majority of the work we do. But in the Netherlands, we do also a lot of testing for the land-based street market. We are the market leader there. This is a very specific topic. It has requirements that only exist in the Netherlands. And outside the Netherlands, nobody understands it. It's difficult to explain. We have that knowledge, and that's why it's important that we keep testing that. And apart from iGaming and land-based testing, we can also do security audits, so the ISMS audits, penetration testing, and vulnerability analysis. And we do this on a regular basis. Just a final slide. I've been talking about the Netherlands, but as Trisigma, we do not only work for the Netherlands. We have our office, I said, in the Netherlands and another office in Spain, but we cover the principal markets of Europe. So we do a lot of testing for other Europe, like the UK, Italy, Spain. These are important markets for us because that's where our customers are implemented there, especially for games testing. We do have one jurisdiction in North America, which is Ontario in Canada. And then South America is an important market for us. Basically, we are everywhere where there is, let's say, real regulation. There are some hybrid situations in South America. People ask about Mexico or countries like Chile or Panama. But the countries that have like a real regulatory framework, we have the accreditation. We've been doing a lot of work there. And also having the office in Spain helps us in doing that. There are no language barriers. We service these projects from Spain. And obviously, for example, last year, we've been doing a lot of work in Peru, which was a new market that opened. We've been doing a lot of work for Brazil, which was also a new market that opened. So, just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we call pitfalls of what we do. And if there's any questions, I'm free to take them.
Maybe just a very random one. Do you have any...
A random question. I love random questions.
It's about deciding what component of the game system is critical and what not. How do you do operators come to you that struggle with that? And then basically, what do you tell them? How do you determine whether something is a critical or non-critical component?
Yeah, that's not something we help with, at least not in Trisigma, because we're not compliance consultants.
No.
It could be an interesting job, but as a test lab, we do not enter into that area. But we will check if in the CMP it is identified as such, and then if it's identified as a critical or non-critical part, we will know what to do.
Yeah.
But we don't help operators in determining how to write a CMP. That's not.
You have to do it themselves.
No.
Yeah.
It's the same as we get questions about what do I need to do to make my game compliant for the Dutch market. You know, it's not a job we can do. But as soon as you do send us the game, we give guidance on why the game might not be compliant. We do not say good or not good. It's not like a driver's license exam. We tell a bit more detail, but not the process up front.
Okay.
Any other question? Okay, well, thank you very much for